please, don't worry about it. Like, stop investigating the situation. I got it under control. But the cops did not let up. So the cops pull my friends out of my car, and I'm just like, oh my god, I have a bubbler in that car. I have 2.5 grams of weed, like chronic, in a jar. And I'm just like, oh! So I immediately call my dad, because my dad works for California. He works for like the freeway system in Cal, or he did. He already retired. So my dad works for it. So I call my dad. I'm like, Dad, the cops are like looking in the car, and I have marijuana. And my parents knew I smoked weed. I was like the last kid, and my parents are hippies themselves. So I didn't care. So I'm just like, Dad, the cops. Oh, hi, kitty. Okay. So, anyways, the cops pull my friends out of the car, and then I tell the cops, no, listen, don't search my car, because these are my friends. It's a misunderstanding. It was so annoying because the cops did not listen to me. And I was already on the phone with my dad. There was a lot of things going on at the same time. And, so the cops pull everybody out of my car. They're like handcuffed. I'm watching like my stoner friends be handcuffed. I'm like, well, fuck you guys, because I didn't get the message that you're taking my car to go get smoothies from Jamba Juice. And, they open up my thing, they take my bubbler, they take my weed. Actually, I know that I shouldn't be proud of this, but the officers opened up my little canister of weed, and they're like, when my dad got there, they're like, your daughter had 2.5 grams of high grade chronic. Yes, I bought high grade chronic when I was in high school. No, I am not proud. I'm just letting you know that when I did smoke weed, I did buy high grade chronic to the point where officers looked at it and smelled it and said, oh, this is high grade chronic. And they were even trying to ask me, the cops, where I got the chronic. But since I hadn't gone home yet in the United States, this is an actual law. In the United States, if you get in trouble in the time between going home from high school, or, okay, if you get in trouble between the time of leaving high school and going home, you're still under the jurisdiction of your high school and not the cops. So, because that happened, my principal came up, and my principals knew me because I already had strike one against me, as I already explained, and he said, you cannot question this student. She is still under our jurisdiction, and we will, whatever the word is, like retroband her, or whatever, reprimand her. That's the word, not retroband, reprimand her. So my principal comes up, and since my dad worked for California for Caltrans, he was just like knew them, and they said, okay, Mr. Larry, we will release your child to your custody and the high school's custody, and she will not get in trouble for this high grade chronic that she has, but we are going to confiscate her bubbler and her marijuana. So that was the second strike for me from high school. Strike three. So I had a whole new contract with my high school. And they were like, Leah, we're going to drug test you once a week. And on top of that, every Wednesday you have to go to these like other think groups of things where like other people have been caught 2 times, basically. So I had to be drug tested once a week. And I had to be go to like this, I don't know, like AA for high school students or NA, whatever. So, me, being the bull-headed person that I am, I was like, oh, fuck these people. I'm still gonna smoke weed, and I'll just beat these drug tests. This is all my senior year. So I decided, I only get drug tested once a week, right? So the day I get drug tested, I can smoke weed. I was really skinny in high school. Like, everybody could tell I'm one of those people that just like I can eat whatever I want. I'm always gonna be super skinny. I have a fast metabolism. So in high school I was like even skinnier. I was like super tiny. So I'm like, oh yeah, I have a super fast metabolism. So I'm like, all right, the day that I get drug tested, I will smoke weed for the next 3 days, and then I will sweat out the THC before my drug test and drink a lot of water. Okay? So for like 4 months of my senior year, because I was expelled in October, and I had to start being drug tested in August, right? So I'm like, I did this for like 3 months of beating my drug test, right? Because I'm like, I refuse to stop smoking weed. I don't smoke weed anymore. So so every time I would get drug tested, I would do I would smoke a ton of weed for 3 days, and then and then I would put trash bags on my body and go for a run. I'd go for a run with trash bags on to sweat out all the marijuana, and I would take a ton of vitamin B, so my marijuana looked yellow, but I drank a ton of water. And I beat my drug test for like, here's what happened. So here's what happened with strike three and why I got expelled from high school, okay? So, so what happened was there was this one week, same old thing, smoking my weed the next few days after I got drug tested, because there was always a weekend in between to sweat out the THC, right? And drink a ton of water before my drug test. Um, so what happened was, of course, with my bad luck, um, I sent my urine sample in, smoked my weed that day before. The next day I go to school. I get the person that comes in and hands my teacher a note. They're like, Leah, you have to go to the office. I'm like, what the fuck, the nurse's office? Why are they calling me into the nurse's office when I just took my drug test yesterday? I have a whole, like, at least, like, 4 or 5 days before I have to go to the nurse's office again, you know? And I go to the nurse's office, and they're like, Leah, the company that we send your urine test to accidentally dropped your urine test and spilled it, so we have to take another one. And I'm just thinking, oh, that was my face, Oh, are you kidding me? The fucking lab ruined my sample of urine, so I have to test again? I've done it for 3 months of flawlessness, and somebody at the fucking lab spilled my piss. They spilled my piss. So then I'm like, oh damn. Oh damn. This shit is over. So Shimon! Exactly, Shimon! So, yeah, obviously, my third strike was, 4 days later. They come up like, Leah, your drug test came back. It had THC. At that time in the high school, because I took a lot of drugs in high school, I also had Xanax in it. They're like barbiturates. Because the first time I got in trouble for weed, it's like, you need to stop smoking weed. My drug dealer was like, oh, if you can't smoke weed, try these. I was like, what are those? They're like, it's called Xanax, and like, it's not the same area as weed. I'm like, okay, I will buy those then. So they're like, all right, Leah, you are expelled. I remember just sitting there thinking, like, what? I am not a violent student. I'm a straight A student. I was in AP classes, and I was like one of those kids that, like, when they take the STAR testing in Southern California, I was like one, like, the top 10 students of my high school. I got like the best grades, and all my teachers loved me. Like, I never thought they would actually like expel me, cause like I made their school look good. I was like one of those people that made the school look good. Tell the story about the French guys giving you coke. That story I will save for a different time. I did coke one time. It was the last drug that I ever tried of all the drugs. I was thinking, like, this drug doesn't do anything. What's the point? So, yeah, that's how I got expelled from school, because they were just like, I'm never taking ketamine, no. So they're just like, oh, Lee, you're expelled. And then I went to a better school, and then I ended up graduating high school literally in like 2 months. And then I went to UCSD and I got an honors degree in physiology and neuroscience. So even if you're a drug addict now, you too can change your life and become a Twitch TV streamer after you put a lot of hard work into college. But yeah, so